I am going to be making a fortune cookie coin purse. I'll put this down and come back here. Okay. All right, so for this one, I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see exactly what you're going to be working with, okay? Okay, so right here, you're going to get the pattern off of my page, isewithjoy.com. Gonna need one of these O-rings. You'll need a leather, full leather, and a sheet. I mean, and a fabric piece. You can get two. All of the measurements are going to be available on my site at isowithjoy.com. So this is slightly shorter than this, and there's a reason for that. It's because I'm going to be using 2 inches of this. So this is about 2 by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. So I'm going to be using 2 inches of this to make the keychain. So I'll go ahead and cut that off and then do the patterns. You'll also need a zipper. So I get zipper by the yard, and this is what I use. And you'll need, obviously, the zipper pull. So let's go ahead and first do this. I'm going to cut this side here, get my 2 inches off. So the great thing about working with a cutting mat is that you can just put it on there, measure accordingly, and just cut away. So these sheets are available on Amazon. You can find it. I have a link on my page just in case folks want to know, want to pick it up. All right, so now I have this, and this should work. Yep, it's exactly the same size now. All right, so for this one here, since it's rather easy, I'm going to just take this, sew it, and it's going to become my my keychain holder. So basically this is what I'm going to do, and use it like that and put this right through it. So I'll do that first, and then we'll come back and start the tracing for this. So let's do this. So this is a very easy project. I am not, it doesn't really take too much to get it done, so. And usually I have a black thread that I use for this. I'm going to use black because it helps you see what the stitches look like, okay? So I'll stick with my black because that's what I always use for illustration so that folks see and they know what it looks like. I'm just gonna back stitch a little bit. So I teach on Outschool, and I just started teaching my current students how to do corners. And it's always so interesting when you notice that people are not necessarily very comfortable sewing corners. And okay, and that's it. I will backstitch this a little bit as well. So that's done. And this has to be the easiest keychain or key ring. So now that I have that taken care of, I have this O-ring here. We'll just work it in there. And I'm going to put it through here like so. Actually, I'm undecided if I want to use this O-ring or if I want to use a different one. So I'll come back to this because it's not necessarily needed right now. I might use a different key ring to hold it together, but this is what it's going to look like, and it's going to be attached to my fortune cookie purse. So let's get this one done first, and then I'll set this aside and go back to the project itself. And it's already here. So now this is what it looks like. Pattern available on isewithjoy.com. And because I don't want to make any mistakes, I don't know what this is. It came on the pattern though, but hey, I'm not selling this, so it's okay. And I'm just going to put this here and use a fabric marker to just draw this. And once I'm done here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it because I want to add my zipper to it. So for this project, I would say it's beginner sewing friendly, but there are a few things you need to know how to work. One of them is being able to work a pair of scissors and sewing it. Yeah, I'm sorry, a pair your zippers rather, not a pair of scissors. Most people can work a pair of scissors. So this is traced out. You need to be able to work with a zipper, and so with a zipper. So this is what my zipper looks like. I buy some zipper by the yard. Also linked on my page if you need it. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and cut this. I'm going to cut it around because I want to be able to attach my zipper to that. So if you want to work with Pinkin shears, that's also an option. You don't necessarily have to use Pinkin shears for this one. I know a lot of people like the beautiful designs that Pinkin shears offer, but it's not needed. Okay, so this one you can use your regular scissors, and these are Geiger scissors. I swear by them because they are perfect every time. Precision. I've had this pair now for going on 10 years and it works great. So if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it, right? And it comes with a little holder here. When you're not working with it, you can do that. Okay, so this is a thing you are going to have to sew this around. So the first thing to do here, turn it around and mark the halfway point, right? So I'm going to do that here. This is my halfway point. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. All measurements are going to be available on my site, isewithjoy.com. So now I know exactly where my halfway point is. Same thing. I am going to measure this and put my halfway point there. Marked right there. And then the next thing is, hello, hi, I'm doing good, thank you. The next thing is to also mark the halfway point for it. So a lot of markings of halfway points here. And the reason for this is because you want to be able to, you know, put it through, or actually, I marked it incorrectly, so I'm going to, this is what I'm supposed to do. Halfway point, identify you again. And there you are. Okay, so remember, zippers have right sides always face each other, because when you turn it, it's going to look like this, right? So this one, again, you're not going to use pins. I know a lot of people prefer pins, but this is not one that calls for pins because you're going to ruin your piece. So just go ahead and use your clips and just, you know, kind of work it around. This is why I say, because it's kind of like in a circle, it requires a little bit of work. Not, I wouldn't say a lot of work, but just a little bit of, you know, finesse to loop it around. And you don't want it too tight. Give it a little bit of give. So I'm going to give it a little bit more give here. Make sure my halfway points are still touching, and they are. So right sides facing each other. And make sure you go past that halfway point you identified there. So you have that, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, the right side is the other side, so we'll mark this and do that. Give me 1 second. Let me get the music going. So I actually thought that it will continue. Okay, so we're back. We'll do all of the markings. Half of this here. We'll mark this as well. So you've already marked the other side, so you don't really need that. And now we're going to start with putting them together. The other option you have as well is if you have the option to do slits on your zipper if you want to kind of give it make it have a little bit of give. And for this particular one, you see how you have a halfway mark there? You are not going to sew it down because you're going to be using this to put the zipper pull back up. So once you get to the end, you're just going to leave it. Okay? And we'll do the same thing around here. I'm trying to have a little bit of white noise, so someone said use the YouTube audio, which is what I'm doing, and hopefully it is it helps a little bit. Let me know if you like the music or if it's a distraction. I put it low so that it's not too much of a distraction. And again, remember we have a halfway point here. It's right there underneath that clip there. So make sure that when you're doing this, it's beginner, like I said, it's beginner sewing friendly, but it does require a little bit of understanding of how this works. So I'm just going to move this a little bit to the side so that I can identify where I need to stop and not sew beyond, which is right there. And let's see, do I have more little clips? Oh, yay! I have one. All right, so lots of clipping going around here. So this is what it looks like when you finish doing that. And then now you're going to get your second piece and just do the same thing you did. Just trace it. And in this case, because I have the option to pin it down, I'm going to do that to make my life a little easier and to make it go a little smoother, right? So, fabric markers are really, really awesome. I love working with them. The pack I have comes with lots of refills, so I'm sure you can see here it's almost done here for this red one, so that you can guess what my favorite color is. I do have white, but the problem is white doesn't show on a lot of things, and these are heat erasable fabric markers, so once you put some heat on it, it disappears. It's like magic, magic, magic. I didn't iron this piece of fabric. If you've been following me for a while and watching my videos, you know ironing is not my thing, but it sometimes needs to be done. So if you feel like you need to iron your fabric, you can. This is more just a DIY illustration of what I'm doing here. I'm not going to sell this, obviously, so I don't feel like it needs to look a certain way. So this is marked up, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut around this. If you're not aware, there is a certain way to cut fabric pieces. I know some people think it's just a little bit of a cut. This is, when you're cutting fabric, you're not cutting it the same way you would cut a piece of paper, okay? So as you can see, it's a little different. You have to make sure that you have your fabric just right to get it through the piece. I do TikTok videos, and I did one last year, maybe a few years now, where I show how long it actually takes to do these videos. But then the video you watch on TikTok is like 3 minutes or 10 minutes, and you think, oh, well, that doesn't take much time at all. But as you can see, we've been online, we've been talking now for 15 minutes, and I am still putting things together. Now, once you have it all cut up and, you know, whatever, it's relatively easy to get everything together, but TikTok, it goes to show TikTok is not real life, right? You see it and you think, oh yeah, well that's how easy it is. No, there's a certain level of whatever to it, so you can. It takes a little bit to get it done. Also, I never throw pieces of fabrics away. I use it for my poof, which is like a little chair that sits in my office when I'm done. So, all right, so this here is going to go on the piece like so. So I'm going to sew it all around, or first I'm going to clip it down though. So all these clips that we painstakingly added, now it's going to be, we're redoing it. And this time we're putting the pieces together. So it's, think of it like a sandwich, right? And when I'm actually sewing this, I'm going to be very careful to make sure I'm getting all three areas as I'm sewing. Okay. So just going to put these inside a little bit and work it through. Because this is actually my anchor point, or my start and finishing point, so I want to make sure that I get it just right as I am putting all of my sandwich together. Hello, for those joining us, I'm making a fortune cookie coin purse. It's a beginner-friendly project. You can pick up a pattern on my page at isewithjoy.com. And everything I'm working with here, you can also find on a link on my link tree. It's on my Amazon storefront, so you don't have to go looking or trying to figure out what it's called. I think that's my biggest thing when I see videos and I'm just like, I want to make that, but then I don't know what it's called. So it's always helpful to have something that actually, you know, points you directly to it. And full disclosure, I do get a small commission when you shop off the link. So you're helping me make more videos like this. And for that, I appreciate it. Okay, so we're almost back to where we started. I will also do this side now. And this is not a fast one, so I'm going to leave that. And then now I'm going to start the process of actually sewing it around. So let's go to the machine and start that. Okay. Actually, hold on. I want to get the different folder for this. And I decided to change my mind on how I want to attach it. And instead of using an O-ring, I'm going to use one of these, what I call anchor rings. So this is what it looks like so. And I'm going to use that for the handle. But now the first thing is, make sure you can still see what I'm doing, is to start sewing this together. So I'm going to start from slightly before my halfway point. Again, remember, you want to make sure all three pieces are touching. Or together rather, and you're sewing through them. So I'm going to go ahead and start right there. And nope, it came off, so I will redo that. So again, mentioning this is beginner sewing friendly, but you do need to be able to work your machine through and really be able to keep everything together. So while it's beginner sewing friendly, you do need to be knowledgeable about sewing. your zipper folds and just help it out a little bit, because again, it's a straight zipper and we're working with a curve. I actually do have a tool I can use here, so let me get it. So just help me put things down and work through that. The other way to get around this is to also use cut. Actually, let me show you what I've been talking about. I say if you cut it slightly, it gives a little bit of give. So see right there how it comes down. That's just all I'm talking about. It gives a little bit of give, and you're only cutting it slightly. I'm just using my snips, and it makes it a lot easier now to work around. So it doesn't have as much pull as when we were working initially and trying to, you know, fit everything in there and all of that. So you don't have to worry about it coming off or not being able to get your fabric. I'm just going to keep doing that because it does allow for you to work easier and not pull too much. This is one you will encounter more while you're on the edge. Once you get to the corners or to the sides, it's a little easier to sew around. Okay. And just making sure all three areas are accounted for. I have a little bit of extra fabric there, but I'm not too worried about it because... Okay, and I'm going to do that. So now I've done the first half, and then next I'm going to do the other half. So remember how I said you're not sewing this down, and that's because eventually you'll see how it looks when it comes together. So I'm just taking this out a little bit. I can now sew it to this halfway point, but I want to wait to do the other side first, and I can come back and sew this. Actually, let me just do it now, because I'm going to use the other side as the side to turn it inside out. So, well, I'll use this. There we go. Start. Take this off. Again, remember you're working with a straight zipper, and you will have to curve it a little bit. So just make sure all three areas, the zipper itself, the fabric, and the three pieces of fabrics are all together. And we're getting to the point where I will start creating slits on my zipper to have it give me a little bit of give. I'm going to do that here as well, so it will stay flat. Worked out better than it did on the other side, where I struggled a bit. Okay. Now remember I said I was going to use this as my turning point, so... Okay. Alright, so both there. I'm going to take off the loose threads here. I'll take this off. This is a little wider than I wanted it, but that's okay. And you just go to work it through around to get your piece inside out. If you're working with fabric, it's easier. In this case, I'm working with leather, so it requires a little more finesse. Just gently, don't force it too much. And it's almost fully out. Okay, we're almost there, yay. There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so just help it straighten itself out. Okay, and then now you have the sides. So we're going to do a quick straight stitch around. You're going to fold this in, but we want to make sure that everything just lays flat. So this is the other area side that makes it a little easier. So if you can't fold it down, and since I'm working with this, I'm going to fold it a little bit. If you're working with two pieces of fabrics, in my case, I'm using full leather, so that makes it a little different and a little more of a task, but that's okay. And I'm going to put my zipper, make sure I find the halfway point there. I'm going to put my zipper in there to the halfway point for both sides. So like I said, it's beginner friendly, sorta, but you do need to have experience doing this or else you will struggle. Okay, so we can fold the leather a little bit, or pleather. I didn't realize people call it pleather, but I saw that in the comments section on Amazon. I guess that's what it's called. And now I'm going to be able to truly sew it all the way in, and I'll do the same thing on the other end, but let me just start this side first. Now the other option you have is to use a zipper foot, which I do have a zipper foot. Let's see if you want that, but actually let me use it. I will use my zipper foot because it gives me a little more options. Do I want to use that? No. So if you want to see, this is my zipper foot. I have a single one right here. You can use that. And the perfect thing about this leather machine is you don't require too much work. It's when changing your foot, it's really easy, simple. And that's it. So now let's go ahead and start sewing. I'll fold these two pieces in there, and let's start with that. Okay. You see, it's there we go. Okay. All right. So remember, we did the same thing we did here. Fold this a little bit. Get your zipper in there. Fold the pieces, and then we are going to end up. Oh, let me get this thread here. have this come in a little bit because now we're sewing it all around. Let's see. Oh, I am making, hi, hello. I am making a fortune cookie coin purse. So hopefully you can follow along. And this video is going to be live on my site anyway. So if you're just joining me, don't worry, you'll still get to watch it. The pattern is going to be available on my website at isewithjoy.com. Okay, and then now we're almost back where we started. I do want to make sure that that's my nail. I do want to make sure that I have accounted for the zipper in there. So you're gonna fold again. Remember, fold the faux leather stuff. Where is it? Where's my middle piece? Here's to this point, so this is my midpoint, and I'm going to fold it all the way there. Fold this and get the zipper in there as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We've closed everything up. And then now we're going to go through the process of putting our zipper back in there. Okay, so first of all, let's take off the threads. And I am having issues with my allergies today. I feel congested, so hopefully it's nothing. Right, so this is where I always struggle in the struggle bus is real. Oh, I forgot to mention, you will need sewing clips. You will need snaps to make this a fortune cookie, but let's first make the coin, okay? The coin purse piece. Okay, so and like I always say, this is the hardest part for me, to get it all together, to get the pieces in there at the same time. I always struggle, but hey. I had a life where I struggled with this for so long, I was just like, oh my god. Alright, so let's do what the folks say is the easiest way to do it. Get your fabric there and try again. If first you don't succeed, try again. I think it'll work this time. So if you have a easy method for doing this, share away, because this is where I always end up struggling, like getting the zipper pull back in there. But it will work eventually, it's just not a quick process. So, And if it doesn't work on this side, I will do it on the other. See? No, I'm doing it on the other side. Because why be on the struggle bus? Well, you don't have to be. We just don't have enough hole to get it through. Hey, I think it's caught on now, and I just need to get it down. That's rather interesting. I wonder if this hook is bad. No, I can see it's already caught. There we go. Yay! But of course, I put it in backwards. Oh no, I didn't. There we go. Yes, I did put it in backwards, so I do have to take it off. That's probably why I was struggling with it. So, there we go. I have to put it in this way. Okay, no, this is always the part that takes the longest time. I sew a lot, and this is where I will get everything like, oh my gosh, why is this one taking so long? It's just the zipper takes a bit to get you to pull it through. So, yep. It doesn't help that it's starting to fray, and it's fraying because I did not use a lighter to burn the edges. Come on. Yeah, this is where it would happen, and now I am, you know how like when you want something to really work and then it doesn't work and you're just like, oh my gosh, and then it just gets worse? Yeah, that's where we are right now, so I'm going to try to work it and see if I can be a little more patient with this. It's driving me crazy though, I'm not gonna lie. So how long have we been doing this one now? If anyone's in the chat can tell me how long I've been struggling with the zipper, I'd appreciate it. And when in doubt, cut, and start again. So that's what I'm gonna do, just to give it a little fresh piece to start off with. I was about to yell a shout of victory is mine. I had a live the other day where it went through very easily, and then of course today's is just struggling. So you can't win them all, right? Struggle through it, some of it. Let's see. There we go. Yay! Now I can say victory is mine. Okay. Oh my gosh, thanks for hanging around while I got this through. Oh, I see an issue there, but we'll fix that later. So, this is the end of our, the other end. So now you're going to go ahead and cut these pieces off now. I want to cut them off individually, I just cut them at the same time, so it doesn't matter. And I will do the same thing here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and sew it down so that it doesn't come apart. And then the last piece is literally just adding. I'm not going to take the thread fully off because I don't want to have another issue with this. So, oh, why is it stuck? Oh, I see. I need a seam ripper. Where, oh where? This is my pretty seam ripper. I have threads through this here. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to take this and now sew it down. I'm going to use a clip here because I do not want to lose this after how hard it was to get it through. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this fully down now. And then I'm going to do the same thing over on the other end. Trying to hold it so I don't actually end up having to lose. There we go. And I'm sewing this end here together because, oopsie, it's going to be my hold the end. Okay, so now this is done. This is done. And I'll probably do a TikTok video with making it look as easy as possible so you wouldn't, no one will know how hard it was to get this through. So this is what it looks like now. And then all you're going to do is take this piece and this piece. I opened it so I can work together with them. Try to line them up as much as possible. Oopsie, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so I think I'm off camera. Yes, I am off camera. Okay. So we'll take these two pieces here and find an inch from the top. Actually, not an inch, it's a half an inch. All right, so we're going to do about a half an inch. Well, I want to do 3/4 of an inch, so we'll do a half an inch. Where is my fabric mark? I don't know where my fabric mark is that I just literally put down here. Oh, it was literally in the corner. So we're going to go ahead and measure each side about a half an inch. So that's where it is. So I'm going to go here, mark that, and then, yep, go there and mark that. Obviously, you want to work with your own, you want to work with, if I was working with fabric, it would be so much easier for both sides. And you're going to need these snap clips. I have everything on my desk. It's just it takes a little getting. Yes, so what color do I want? I think I will do an orange clip. This kit, you basically, I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? So I want to put this through where my mark is. And I'm going to use this. I use my snap clips to get it through. This is the one part I don't like doing on camera because I feel like I get it, it's not properly aligned, but we'll see how it works. Oh, it works this time. So, and then I'm gonna open this. And I'm going to do the same thing here. It comes with its own hole punch. I'm just being lazy. I don't want to bring it out, that's all. It's not that difficult. It does come with its own hole punch in the kit. And I will put that there. And put this. And it still works. Although there's something dirty in there. I should figure out what it is. I don't know what that is. How did it get there? It looks like glue, which is interesting because I've never used anything rubbery or glue-like on there, but I will get it. I have tweezers. There we go. Like I said, everything is at my desk, so my sewing. So, and all you need for this is, so our dumpling purse is almost done. It's already taken shape. I mean, I'm sorry, our fortune cookie purse. And then the last thing I'm going to do is put my hardware on there. Now this is long. I could do this, or I could cut it in half. And I think I do want to cut it in half because it's a little long, and I don't feel like it needs to be that long. So where? Yeah, I do want to cut it in half. I'll use this for something else. And everything, of course, requires hardware, right? So, where's the tool for this one? Here's the tool for it. I just want to show you, if you started from the beginning, look, this desk was clean, and now look at it. It's just a whole lot of stuff there. I'll put that back. I'll put it all back, but then now I'm just going to loop this through. And my dumpling purse is just a... why do I keep calling it a dumpling purse? I don't know. Maybe I need dumplings. Maybe I'll have my husband buy me Chinese food for the weekend. But anyways, my little fortune cookie purse, coin purse, is all done. This is it. Okay, so thank you for joining me and sticking around as I struggled through putting the zipper in. That was quite an experience, but this is what it'll look like. If you take this off, you get a half the purse. It opens all the way up. If you don't want to open it all the way up, you can also sew it here and, you know, like just hold it in one place so it just opens part way. But This is what it looks like, and I think this is really cute. It's a great errand purse and a good talking piece too. You can find this also on Etsy, but if you don't want to pay an Etsy price for it, make it yourself. Give it away as a gift to friends and family. All right. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Bye.